years ago, people had a pretty good chance of dying on their 50th birthday. According to medical historians and healthcare professionals, hospital experiences included long stays, severe blind spots, and a lack of patient respect. It might be hard to believe, but marijuana, heroin, and morphine were all available over the corner at local drugstores. People didn't make too much of a deal about personal hygiene either. Only 14% of the homes had a bathtub, and most women only washed their hair once a month using borax or egg as a shampoo. Children were also very lucky to be able to access to school, and they loved it because it was either go to school or work. School clothes, teachers, classrooms, learning, and homework were much more stricter and harder. However, only 10% of high school students actually graduated. Most students ended up leaving school between the ages of 12 and 14 and started working in order to help support their families. Money was also important, but it wasn't the cornerstone of everyone's life. You could get a handful of candy for a penny, a pound of sugar for 4 cents, and a dozen eggs for about 14 cents. In the past, people spent about half of their money on food and clothing, but they also stole the basic items and had more access to fresh foods and raw materials so that they could make things work without having to hire professionals or pay inflated rates on every turn.
The evolution of fashion is rather fascinating. Years ago, men's trousers were worn cuff to ankle length. Increased skirts rose from floor length, and women began to bob their hair, and they wore shoes with heels that featured a slight curve.
Later in the years, the airplane was invented, and with it, a radio capable of work from the inside of it. Years later, the first red and green motion picture was incorporated to the television from the broadcast worldwide system. And the major tech invention in the 1917 was the Thugger light switch. Farms used to be small, and they were often remote isolated, and the families of the farms took care of the land and lived off of their farm. The crops were diverse, and monocultures were nowhere to be found. Farms raised pigs, sheep, cows, and chickens, pointing that these animals were vital to the success of the crops. The rise of machine labor just started to make its impact on local farms. Farmers often faced the troubles of drought, colds, and disease. These factors were part of farming, and all farms knew that some loss was inevitable. Nowadays, we are taller, but we are also fatter than ever. We also live longer than before. These gains have not been universal, but the average life expectancy in the world's least developed countries is still above 61. Thanks to technological advances, the length of hospital stays for recovery from procedures has declined substantially. The emergence of the nurse practitioners has also lifted a great deal for burden from the responsibility of doctors, like prescribing medicine, diagnosticating disease, and initiating treatment. In our present time, we are totally obsessed with hygiene and personal care. We shower daily, brush our teeth twice a day, remove unwanted hair, and wouldn't dare to leave the house without deodorant. People these days make us stink, literally, if they smell the drenched D.O. In today's society, nobody wants to be around someone who hasn't showered in a while. In the present day, graduating high school is more of an expectation rather than a privilege, and society trends to do higher education more as a commodity to purchase and list resume. Students learn from teachers, each other, and internet, books, movies, and from people in other countries. They ask questions, wonder, explore, experiment, and investigate new ideas. They make online global connections and learn about faraway places directly from people that live in them. Over the century, inflation has definitely taken its toll. If every year it feels like everything is costing a little more while portions are getting smaller, it isn't your imagination. Nowadays, there's much more profit being made on everything, and people are depending on manufactured products now more than ever. Today, most of us end up spending more than half of our income on housing and transportation alone. Footwear and hairstyles have changed a bit over the centuries, and certain styles have remained, such as the all-star Skip Classic Converse shoe. It hit the market in 1917 and has remained essentially unchanged. It's still a very popular choice for many teenagers and young adults to like. Besides wearing Converse shoes, we have much more choices and freedom in the way we dress today than our folks in the past. We are able to create our own unique individual styles, like the clothes, shoes, and hairstyles we choose to wear. Whether we prefer a classic look, business attire, sportier casual outfits, an alternative style, or a fearless rocks hipster look, the possibilities are nearly endless. Now, we not only put about 2,300 satellites in space, but we also landed on the moon and put robots on Mars. We fly drones, and we're making strides in artificial intelligence, robotics, sensors, networks, technotate biology, material science, genome editing, space exploration, and much more every day. We also get to enjoy the internet, use smartphones and tablets, and we can easily communicate by sending emails and texts anywhere, anytime. And also, as a result of climate science and other innovations, agriculture has progressed tremendously over the past years. However, farms are becoming more like factories with tightly controlled operations for turning out reliable products, immune as far as possible from the vagary of nature, due to better understanding the DNA the plants and animals raised in a farm are also tightly controlled. Besides, genetic manipulation, known as genome technology, makes it possible to change a crop or stock animals. These technological improvements promise to boost farmers' profits by cutting costs and increasing yield, and ultimately benefiting customers in the form of lower prices. Yet, concerns have also been posed in the use of genome editing in agriculture. One worry is that this technology may put increasing power in the hands of giant agriculture companies, primarily concerned with maximizing short-term profit and not about long-term effects on human health, animal welfare, or the environment. Between now and 2050, the planet's population is likely to rise from 7.5 to 9.5 billion. These people will need to eat, however, they will probably want to eat better than we do now.
So what do you think? Which one is better, the past or the present?